Welcome to the CISO Daily Update.
CannonDesign hit by data breach. Client and employee information compromised. Well-known architectural and consulting firm CannonDesign announced a data breach that occurred earlier this year that exposed personal information of current and past employees and their dependents. The breach was discovered on January 25, 2023, and involved unauthorized access to the company's network. Data types exposed include names, contact information, social security numbers, and more. Although no proof of identity theft has been discovered, CannonDesign is alerting impacted individuals and recommending they check their accounts and consider setting up fraud alerts or credit freezes. The company has adopted additional security measures and set up a helpline for further assistance. Microchip Technology says IT incident impacted operations. Microchip Technology reported a cyber incident on August 17, 2024 that disrupted its operations, including its ability to fulfill orders. The Arizona-based microprocessor manufacturer detected suspicious activity on its IT systems and has since taken steps to isolate affected servers, shut down certain systems, and launch an investigation with external cybersecurity experts. Although the full impact is still unclear, the company acknowledged that its manufacturing is currently operating below normal levels. The incident is suspected to be a ransomware attack. Arden Claims Service reports data breach, 139,000 affected. Arden Claims Service reported a data breach affecting approximately 139,000 individuals, with personal information for about 39,000 individuals stolen. The breach was detected on October 17, 2023, and traced back to unauthorized access on or around October 3, 2023. The compromised data includes names and social security numbers. The firm recently completed its review of the stolen data and began notifying affected individuals on August 14, 2024. Arden Claims Service is offering free identity protection services to those impacted, including credit monitoring and identity theft recovery. It remains unclear if the breach was the result of an extortion attempt, as no ransomware group has claimed responsibility. Thousands of apps using AWS ALB exposed to attacks due to configuration issue. Thousands of applications using AWS's application load balancer are potentially vulnerable to ALB's attacks due to a critical configuration issue. This issue affects approximately 15,000 apps and arises when attackers exploit misconfigurations in ALB's authentication setup to forge tokens that bypass authentication and authorization processes. AWS updated its documentation and provided new code to mitigate this risk. Styx Stealer creators OPSEC fail leaks client list and profit details. The creator of Styx Stealer, a malware that emerged in April 2024, inadvertently leaked sensitive information due to an OPSEC mistake. This leak exposed client lists, profit details, and personal data, including nicknames, phone numbers, and email addresses. Styx Stealer targets browser data, instant messenger sessions, and cryptocurrency wallets. Checkpoint researchers discovered that the creator debugged the malware on their own machine, allowing the identification of 54 customers and 8 cryptocurrency wallets. This error also connected the creator to earlier campaigns involving other malware. Man who hacked Hawaii State Registry to forge his own death certificate, sentenced to 81 months. Jesse Kipf, a Kentucky man who hacked into the Hawaii Death Registry to forge his death certificate and evade over $116,000 in child support, was sentenced to 81 months in prison. In January 2023, Kipf used stolen credentials to access and manipulate the registry, later attempting to sell access to other hacked systems and data on the dark web. His criminal activities also targeted various government and corporate networks. Microsoft Copilot Studio vulnerability led to information disclosure. A vulnerability in Microsoft Copilot Studio CVE 2024-38206 with a CVSS score of 8.5 exposed sensitive information on Microsoft's internal infrastructure, potentially affecting multiple customers. The Flaw is a server-side request forgery vulnerability, allowing authenticated attackers to bypass SSRF protections and access internal services like the Instance Metadata Service and Cosmos DB instances. By manipulating HTTP request headers, attackers could obtain managed identity access tokens, leading to read-write permissions on a Cosmos DB instance. Microsoft fully mitigated the issue. GitHub Enterprise Server vulnerable to critical auth bypass flaw. A critical vulnerability, CVE 2024-6800, was identified in GitHub Enterprise Server that could allow attackers to bypass authentication and gain administrator privileges. Rated 9.5 on the CVSS 4.0 scale, the flaw involves an XML signature wrapping issue when using SAML authentication with certain identity providers. This could enable an attacker to forge a SAML response, granting unauthorized access to admin accounts. GitHub released patches for affected versions in GHES 3.13.3, 3.12.8, 3.11.14, and 3.10.16. System administrators are urged to apply these updates, despite potential minor configuration issues post-installation. LiteSpeed cache used in 5 million sites allows unauthenticated admin access. A critical security vulnerability in the LiteSpeed cache plugin, used by over 5 million WordPress sites, allows unauthenticated attackers to gain admin-level access. Identified as CVE 2024-28000, the flaw was patched in version 6.4, released on August 13, 2024. The vulnerability stems from a weak security hash mechanism used by the plugin's user simulation feature, which attackers could exploit to take over sites. Despite the release of a fix, only 24.1% of users have updated, leaving approximately 3.8 million sites still vulnerable. Site owners are advised to upgrade to version 6.4 immediately or disable the plugin to avoid potential attacks. Critical vulnerability in OpenBMCs for servers leads to full compromise. A critical vulnerability tracked as CVE 2024-41660 has been found in the OpenBMC project's CellP Lite subcomponent, scoring 9.8 on the CVSSV 3.1 scale. This flaw affects default OpenBMC builds with the SLPD Lite service enabled, posing significant security risks by allowing attackers to exploit out-of-bounds heap reads and writes through improperly handled UDP packets. The vulnerabilities involve the parse header and prepare header functions, which could lead to remote code execution or sensitive data exposure. Given that BMCs manage server hardware, this compromise could undermine server security. Most ransomware attacks now happen at night. A new report from Malwarebytes reveals that most ransomware attacks now occur between 1 a.m. and 5 a.m., aiming to catch cybersecurity teams off guard when IT staff are least likely to be available. The 2024 State of Ransomware report highlights that attacks, which once took weeks to execute, can now be completed in just hours using techniques that evade traditional detection tools. The report also notes a significant rise in attacks on services and manufacturing sectors, with the US and UK being the most targeted countries. Healthcare hit by a fifth of ransomware incidents. Healthcare has been the target of 21% of ransomware attacks over the past year, up from 18% previously, according to Barracuda Network's analysis of 200 incidents between August 2023 and July 2024. These attacks often disrupt patient care and cause the cancellation of operations. Local governments also face significant threats, with 17% of attacks targeting municipalities and impacting critical services like tax payments and court operations. While ransomware incidents in the education sector declined, attacks on financial services increased. Barracuda noted that there are multiple opportunities for security teams to detect and prevent ransomware attacks during early stages like lateral movement and file modification. Average DDoS attack costs $6,000 per minute. DDoS attacks surged in frequency and duration, with 2024 seeing a 106% increase compared to late 2023. The average DDoS attack now lasts 45 minutes, costing organizations approximately $6,000 per minute or $270,000 per attack. While most attacks are short bursts lasting under 10 minutes, their frequency and intensity have risen, and it particularly with AI-driven methods. Telecommunications, education, and manufacturing are the most targeted industries, with government entities experiencing the longest attacks.
Thanks for listening. Remember to subscribe to our newsletter at CISOheadlines.com. Until next time, stay curious.